Hey everybody, let me turn it over. I'm here in Montgomery, and we're here with the Poor People's Campaign for the Sleep the Waking Giant campaign. So obviously our elected officials are kind of like pretty much ignoring the real issues that are going on here, and a lot of them have a lot of power in the state, so they're referred to as the sleeping giants. And so today we're here to wake up the sleeping giants.
Does anyone have her number?
And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of people up front, and we got some that are similar in the back here. And this is the, of course, the one of the flags. There are a lot of them that are out here, and we're going to get ready to start moving pretty soon here. So that's where we're heading to, straight up the road here to the state capitol up here, and that's where the actual rally is going to take place. We're right here on Dexter Avenue. This is the same street where Dexter Avenue Baptist Church is located at. I believe Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, this is where he first preached at here. So this street is very historical for a lot of purposes. It looks like, as you can hear, we got some people that are fired up and ready to go. They can't, wait to start this march. So we will be with you for a little bit here to kind of get things started up here. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Tell everybody why you're here.
My name is Brian, and I'm here to support a good cause.
Where you from?
Birmingham.
Are you from Birmingham? Okay, we're ready to get started here. Good old-fashioned march here. So we're going to walk all the way to the Capitol, which is ahead on your screen here.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes.
Let's check out some of these signs here. As you hear the sights and see the sounds of what's going on here. Check out some of these signs. At the front of the of this processional is an actual casket, and it has some things that are, related to some of the issues that's going on that people are talking about that's not being addressed. Yeah, this is one of the signs. In case you wanted to know what this is about, there it is right there. Mhm. Check out some of the signs.
We were sitting in the car and we were like, I didn't see nobody. Everybody was there.
Look, we're gonna protest too. Hear me? Somebody died. I saw. Are they dead, Papa? Are they dead?
By the way, Montgomery is not the only place where they're having this march and rally at. It's happening at 32 state houses across the country. So every part of the state, whether you're north, south, east, or west, chances are, chances are you have a chances are your state is having one of these rallies. Again, it's like 32 states that are having, and it's all happening at the same time, something that has never happened before. So this is historic, ladies and gentlemen, that you have a rally of the same type with the same signs that are happening at 32 states across the country at the same time. Later on, after this march is completed, you will hear some dynamic speakers from all over the state of Alabama with personal stories and holding people accountable. So I hope you're ready.
You look like a feud, Papa. A protest here. You hear me?
So other than the chatter that you're hearing, this march is like rather quiet. We hear some singing a little bit in the front of the march. So let's see if we can kind of like listen in on that.
Hi, kid. Hi.
I tell you, my arm is getting a workout here.
Yeah, you're right. Mine too.
Uh,
Mine too.
whew. Well, we don't have too far to go.
That's right.
Yeah, we're very close to our destination here. Probably our state officers, they probably at home right now. Hmm. If they don't hear us today, they eventually gonna hear us. Or they'll be hearing from us from the ballot box.
Let's walk back.
Did you go to DC a couple years ago?
I did.
I remember you. Stephanie. Remind me of your name.
Keith.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, and I got sick too.
You got sick on that trip?
Yeah, it was cold.
It was cold.
It was cold that.
You were kind of balled up a little bit.
Yeah, I got sick when we got back. Well, it was a great trip
Are you
there.
glad you went?
Huh?
Are you glad you went? Sorry.
Oh no, I wouldn't mind going back. Well, just meeting some old faces, some I haven't seen in a while. Pretty cool, huh?
Yes, ma'am. How are you this morning?
Well, we almost here. Isn't that a nice building? Now, if we just get some people to do some actual work in that building, that's going to benefit all Alabamians, I'll be more than happy. All right. In another minute or so, we'll be here. We have people here from all walks of life, from all over the state. They are here from Huntsville to Mobile. They are here. Yeah, I wanted to. That's pretty cool. Is you got footsteps for a crosswalk. Pretty cool, isn't it? That's one of the organizers. We're coming close to the meeting place here at the Capitol building. Where we'll be hearing from various speakers. That should be coming up shortly. Those of you who are just joining us here, I am in Montgomery, Alabama. We're approaching the state capitol here, and it's for the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. And Alabama is one of the 32 states that are having this rally. It's called, there it is, Waking the Sleeping Giant. And this is happening in 32 states across the country at the same time, something that has never been done before since the Poor People's Campaign was started in the late 1960s. Well, that's that casket I was telling you about.
Take out some of the grass and plant some of the native plants to their area that produce food. And I bought a box of that book, mainly just to do that. I would put it in the library at church.
I got a ticket. Somebody gave it to me. We're gonna tear your kingdom down. All over the ground. Oh, promise me, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Hey, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. All over the town. Oh, hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Oh, you feel me? All over this land, well, hatred is gonna tear your kingdom down. Poverty is gonna
see if we can get a closer look at all the speakers here.
Forward together. Not one step back. Forward together. Not one step back. We are the giants. Who are the giants? We are the giants. Who are the giants? We are the giants. Who are the giants? We are the giants. Forward together. Not one step back.
All right, I got one for you. Hatred, gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down. Hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down. Hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down. Hatred, we're gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down. Poverty, we're gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down. Poverty, we're gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down. Poverty, we're gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down. Poverty, we're gonna tear your kingdom down, 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 down.
And we're going to tell y'all what to say. A lot of people already know it. So we go. Somebody's hurting my brothers, and it's going on.
Far too long,
And it's going on.
far too long,
Yes, it's going on.
far too long.
Somebody's hurting my brothers, and it's going on.
Far too long,
And we won't be silent.
anymore.
Oh, somebody's hurting my sisters, and it's going on.
Far too long,
And it's going on.
far too long,
Yes, it's going on.
far too long.
Somebody's hurting our sisters, and it's going on.
Far too long,
And we
won't be silent anymore.
Somebody's hurting our communities, and it's going on.
Far too long,
Yes, it's going on.
far too long,
Oh, it's going on.
far too long.
Somebody's hurting our communities, and it's going on.
Far too long, and we won't be silent anymore.
Hello, freedom fighters.
Hello.
I am the Reverend Carolyn Foster. I serve as one of the tri-chairs for the Alabama Poor People's Campaign, a national call for more revival. And we're gathered here today here at the Alabama State Capitol, along with 32 other states and D.C. all across the country for our mass poor people and low-wage workers simultaneous State House Assembly. We will not accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death anymore. We will not accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death anymore. Poverty can be abolished. It is unnecessary. And we are determined to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices, and register and cast our vote as demand as we wake the sleeping giant. Who are the giants? We are the giants. Who are the giants? All right. We will mobilize, educate, and engage 15 million infrequent poor and low-wage voters who have not voted in the past election. It is time to wake the sleeping giant of poor and low-wage workers who make up more than 30% of the electorate nationwide. Imagine that. Imagine that. All over this country, if just 20 to 30% of poor and low-wage workers who are infrequent voters were to move, they could change the election outcome and political outcome in this country and in this state. In many places, it's less than 10%. On this, the anniversary weekend of Bloody Sunday and the Selma to Montgomery March, and just a few days away from the State of the Union and Super Tuesday, we are saying from state houses all over this nation that we won't be silent or ignored anymore. The number one reason poor and low-wage workers don't vote is because nobody talks to them or include them in their issues around public policy debates. There are over 135 million poor and low-wage workers and low-income people in this nation. Let me say that again. 135 million poor and low-wage workers and low-income people in this nation. And over 52 million low-wage workers make less than a living wage, less than $15 an hour. And that must change. Reverend Tony Hawkins.
Good morning. Good morning. And I just want to say, too, how good it is to see all these young people.
Yes, it is. Boston's in the house.
Your movement. This is your movement. It's your future. I am Reverend Tony Allgood. I'm a member of the 48 Committee of the Alabama Poor People's Campaign.
Yes.
And in a few minutes, you're going to hear speakers. We're going to tell you the facts of what the state House representative
Mike, can't hear you.
in Alabama has been doing to disenfranchise people,
Yes,
to keep people in poverty.
yes.
And we want them to know from the State House to the White House.
Yeah, that's right.
We are not a resurrection. We are not an insurrection of hate and destruction. We are a resurrection
That's right.
That's right.
of love,
Yes.
of power,
Yes.
and purpose.
Yes.
You know, this Capitol here is just this Capitol here is just not a symbol. It's a place where policies are made and laws are made that affect people living in poverty.
All right. That's right. That's right.
That affect low-wage people.
Yes.
They affect our youth education
Yes.
and women. The impact, minimum wage, health care, public education, all these take place here. You know, it's a shame in this country, both the richest country in the world for some people, that poverty is the fourth leading cause of death.
Yes.
That's a sin. It's unconscionable. You know, in the Bible, in Deuteronomy, in the 15th chapter, it says, there must not be any poor among you. Amen. And say there may be, but there must be no one poor who lives among you. That's right. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said at the end of the Selma to Montgomery March, right here, the great fear of greedy aristocracy in the nation was for the masses of Negro and poor whites to come together and form a voting bloc that could change the economic architect of this land. That's right. That's right. Today it is the white, poor white, black, Hispanic, Latinx, Asian, and indigenous people who now represent more than 80% of the voters. And over 20 million who have not voted. 20 million who have not voted. Did you know the 135 people and low age people, you know what they look like? Yeah, that's right. 60%, 24 million in this nation are black. 64%, 38% are Hispanic or Latinx people. 40%, 8 million of Asian people. 60%, 2 million of indigenous people. Yes. And listen to this. 33%, 66 million are Caucasian. Wow. Can you imagine the strength that we have when we come together? Like Dr. said, when we come together, we'll be an unsettling force. That will cause those that have been oppressing us to say yes when they may desire to say no. Forward together. Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
All right. I'm Dr. Pamela Foster. I'm part of the coordinating committee of the Alabama Poor People's Campaign, and today I'm here to raise up. We don't do this work alone. We work with many partners, so I'm doing a partner roll call. Yes. And I do want to give a shout out to those young people, middle school students. They're from Massachusetts. We didn't come here today for one day. This is not a one-day movement. We're here to launch a massive 40-plus week campaign to mobilize poor and low-income voters to wake the sleeping giant. Many of you have the badges that say wake the sleeping giant. That's what we're here for today.
That's right.
Poor, low-wage people don't have to accept this. This primary season and in November, we will vote our demands in the ballot box. All right. We know the power state houses have in impacting policy. They've been causing havoc all week long, all last week long here at this state house. So we know the power we have to turn that around. We are demanding in this movement, abolishing poverty as the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S., a living minimum wage of at least $15 plus per hour, which is more than full and expanded voting rights. We know right here in this house, they passed SB 1 to try to do voter suppression, to criminalize people for absentee voting. So we are fighting against that. Guaranteed worker rights and labor rights. We've got a lot of health care for all. Expand Medicaid. Affordable, adequate housing.
abolishing IVF for women. We're against that. We want to fight that. Environmental justice that secures clean air and water, fully funded public education. Just immigration laws. And end to hate, division, and extremist political agenda. So today we are joined not only by poor and low-wage workers, we're joined by faith leaders, advocates to send a message to the legislators responsible for the unrelenting policy violence against the poor and low-income people that we won't be silent anymore. We will hear from those who are the faces of these facts. Let me shout out all the Fusion Coalition mobilizing with us today. They're standing here up here on the steps. Greater Birmingham Ministries, shout out. Alabama Arise. Cleveland Women Voters. Caitlin Works. Communication Workers of America. United Auto Workers. Alabama River Alliance. Are there any other community groups in the house? Black Lives Matter, Unitarian Church. Okay. JMA. What's JMA? Okay, Jobs Move America. Who else? United Women. What is it?
Alabama Center for Rural Organizing.
Okay. Who else?
Democracy Trailblazers.
Okay, Democracy Trailblazers. Action Coalition for Public Transportation. NAACP, shout out
NDM Unite!
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Alabama Institute for
Thank you, all our partners. We do have Alabama fact sheets. Please read them. We're going to pass some more out if we have any more. Please keep up with our facts about poor and low wage here. People, facts to know about minimum wage, number of poor, low-wage people in the state is really 1.9 million here. Voters, that's voters, but it's more than that who are low and poor in the state. And lastly, I talked about SB1, the stuff that's happening in the Capitol. Let's not leave out some of the other things that are going on as well.
Free Palestine.
SB 111. There's so many here, but the reason I bring up that SB 1 is low income and poor people often can't get off work to vote. Right. This is a way we really should have early voting. We really should be pushing for early voting. Absentee voting is absolutely essential for low income and poor people, as well as those in the military. So this bill is really detrimental to keep us suppressing that vote because of the power we have. Somebody else said we're the giants and the power we have. So let's continue to fight. Let's continue to fight. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Somebody's hurting poor people.
Yes, we'll now have.
And it's gone on far too long.
Yes, it has. Yes,
And we
it has.
won't be silent
Anymore.
In the middle of this group, those behind me, those in front of me. All right? Yeah. I'll try again. Different mics, different places. Right here in the middle of us, those behind me, beside me, in front of me, all around. There's a casket in case you have missed it. It's here for a purpose. It's to let us see, as well as hear, that poverty is a leading cause of death in the United States.
Right.
It's here. It's real. It's not simply numbers, but there are people who have lost their lives because they've lived in poverty. And alas, they have died in poverty. So as we gather here today, we want to remember. And this casket will be part of what draws us together in remembering. With a collective spirit of unity here in Alabama, but around the country. Simultaneously, while we're here, there are others standing in other state capitals who are committing themselves with unwavering resolve to take back the mic from extremists, to raise our voices and votes, to make our power felt, from the State House to the White House, to wake the sleeping giant, and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection.
All right.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
They accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death. Somebody hurting our brothers and sisters and our people. We demand justice, compassion, and unity as we stand together across all races, creeds, colors, sexualities, and geography. Every faith tradition calls us to defend the rights of the poor.
That's right.
Our Constitution requires us to establish justice and to promote the general welfare for all. Forward together.
Not one step back.
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 We will take back the mic. We will voice our demands and register our votes, which make up more than 30% of the nation's electorate. We demand an end to poverty as fourth leading cause of death. We demand a living wage at least $15 an hour. Forward together.
Not one step back.
We demand an end to voter suppression. And we demand the expansion of voting rights. We demand fully funded public education for all. We demand health care for all. We demand affordable and adequate housing for all. We demand worker and labor rights.
Clean water.
Public transportation.
We demand the protection of women's rights and their bodies. We demand an end to gun violence. We demand clean air and water. We demand environmental justice.
Stable climate.
We demand an end to the poverty and proliferation of guns. We demand just immigration laws. We demand that love and justice, not hate and violence, guide our public policy. Pull together.
Not one step back.
We will not let the shadows of hate and apathy linger. Together, we come to take back the mic from extremists. We raise our voices and we cast our votes against voter suppression. We will wake the sleeping giant. We are not an insurrection. We are a resurrection. We're bringing life to the dead. We won't be silent anymore. We won't be silent. together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Everybody standing here, make sure you have registered. Before you leave today, make sure you are registered to vote, number one, and know where you're going to vote, but also register so that we can keep our collective efforts together. I am Reverend Valtoria Jackson, and now to put a face to these issues. You've heard the numbers. They're not just numbers, there are people. That's right. We call on poor and low-wage workers that are here today, as along with faith leaders, to testify and to make a case for why it's time to take back the mic from extremists. Raise our voices and our votes and wake the sleeping giant and be a resurrection and not an insurrection. All right, now for 3 minutes each testifier is going to tell their story. They will introduce themselves as they come.
Amen. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Somebody's hurting poor people and it's gone on far too long.
And we won't be silent anymore.
Okay, I'm calling to the podium Kenneth Tyrone King, along with James Jackson. Come on, come on, come on. Adam Keller. She will speak on Medicaid expansion. Iman Mikael Cedric. Kathy Jones. All right.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenneth King, and I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. And earlier, I was asked by one of the youth from Massachusetts. They had asked me, they said, what is about this movement, or what is it that interest that you entwine with it? I'm here because as a low-wage earner, and also a privilege as a person who lives in Birmingham, Alabama, where we have over 30,000 low-wage earners, persons who are making less than $15 an hour. And we have companies that are coming in who are touting that they have higher wages and that but they are non-union companies. They're companies with no protection. I'm a contractor, and I'm trying to be anonymous and not expose the company. But I was working for a company there in McCullough a few months ago, and we were making above minimum wage, $18 an hour. We came to work one day, and they told us that our salary had dropped by $4. What do we do? They said, that is not right. So we contacted the office in Atlanta to find out why was our salary decreased when we're doing the same work. Shortly thereafter, talking to some co-workers, trying to just get them to organize and to see if we can get together and bring the wage back to where it was, I was let go. I'm here to tell you this morning that if it was not for savings and the support of family members and church members and others who have been helping us, if it's not for a one-car family whose husband was recently left, I was recently demoted and fired from this job and haven't been getting favorable response. But this is one of the reasons why I'm a member of the Poor People Campaign. It amplifies my voice. It reminds me of that. It's just not happening in Birmingham. It's happening in Montgomery. It's happening also in Selma. It's happening all throughout this country. I am ready to see an increase in the living wage and the unilateral living wage, especially there in my home city of Birmingham. It's good to talk about the companies the AIDS and disease and other places, but we need a living wage. The workers who are giving the profits to these companies, and they're having exceptional progress, but we are still at the bottom. We're still not making the money that we can to support our families, working 2 or more jobs, and some of us are one-car families. We need better transportation. We also need better wages in this state, especially in my home city of Birmingham, Alabama. And this is why, in this movement, to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices as well as our votes, make our power felt from the State House to the White House, and to wake the sleeping giant, and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. Now, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is James Jackson. I am on the coordinating committee of the Poor People's Campaign. I am from Mobile, Alabama, the birthplace of Mardi Gras. I'm here to talk about living wages. It's like slavery never ended because when we get our check, we gotta get it right back to the man. Because of bills. Look, I did a study. $7.25 is the minimum wage in Alabama. It still is since 2009. In 2009, the average rent was $574. In 2024, it is $1,074. Now you do the math. It's unacceptable. We got demand to these politicians that's running for these offices that we demand a living wage. It's time out for the BS. I'm 46 years old, but I ain't a kid, and I don't want a family because I can't afford a family. And I shouldn't feel that way. But that's the way they made it. I'm not gonna be out here struggling. Hey, it's crazy out here because you got people out here selling drugs just so they can have food on their table, roof over their head. And if they get caught, they still get in the system and become slaves to the labor corporation. You know what I'm saying? We got to wake our people up and let them know what's going on in the trap of what the young people call it. Because it is a trap. Because these wages is not adding up to the cost of living now. It's sad. I know a young lady right now, she drives the buses for the city. She does double 6 days out the week. She's tired, she can't even be a parent. And she's still not making enough to, for ends meet. I know a young man working 2-3 jobs, family living out of a van. It's unacceptable. We're not going to take it anymore. And this is why I'm in this movement to take back the mic from the extremists, raise our voices and votes, and make our power felt from the State House to the White House. To wake the sleeping giant, and to be a resurrection and not an insurrection. Forward together! Not one step back! Forward together! Not one step back!
Adam Keller.
There you are.
Hey!
My name is Adam Keller. I'm a community organizer with Alabama Arise, a statewide nonprofit coalition fighting poverty at the public policy level. I'm also a labor union activist. Proud member of IOTC 900, CWA 3908 in the North Alabama Labor Council. I'm a lifelong Southerner, a father, a husband, and a member of the working class. I'm proud of everyone here who has been organizing and speaking up for the least of these. Thank you. In the labor movement, we have an old saying, an injury to one is an injury to all. Some of us really do believe that. An injury to one is an injury to all means that we must recognize injustice faced by our neighbors and that we must have their backs. So I stand in solidarity with the hundreds of thousands of Alabamians needlessly suffering because Alabama is one of only 10 states not to expand Medicaid. Earning too much to qualify for Alabama's strict Medicaid and yet not enough to afford health care, hundreds of thousands of our neighbors are caught in the health care coverage gap. They could gain health coverage through Medicaid expansion. Nearly all of the cost of Medicaid expansion would be paid by the federal government. It would generate an annual economic impact of nearly $2 billion. It would create over 20,000 jobs a year, and it would save the state almost $400 million a year, more than enough to pay for our share. From students entering the workforce to the newly disabled leaving the workforce, from the cooks to the cashiers, from the barbers to the bartenders, too many are caught in this gap. Please follow Cover Alabama, get plugged into the campaign, join us in calling for Governor Ivey and the legislature to do the right thing. How many more must die while we wait? It is long past time that we implement this proven policy solution to save the lives of our brothers and sisters and improve many more. It is long past time that Alabama uplift its people, its economy, and its healthcare system by expanding Medicaid. It's time to finally put people above politics and invest in humanity. And finally, the way we can make that happen, The way we can win this demand and the many others discussed today is to build a mass movement of everyday people, to unite the diverse working class majority, to build a movement rooted in love, justice, and solidarity that can fight back against the forces of bigotry, exploitation, and oppression. We have to respond to organized greed with organized people. We have to respond to organized hate with organized love. Throughout the history of this country, every inch of progress was fought for from below. Change comes from the bottom up. I truly believe a better world is possible, but only if we come together and fight for it. Solidarity forever, y'all. And this is why I'm in this movement to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices and votes, and make our power felt from the State House to the White House, to wake the sleeping giant and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection.
Peace be upon you all. My name is Mikhail Sabri. I'm the local imam at the Muslim Center in Montgomery. It's a pleasure to be here today. I want to thank the committee of the Poor People's Campaign for inviting not only myself, but all of us out here today. We are in a struggle for something that's good. We're in a struggle for something that's great, something that's needed. And I'm reminded as I stand here today, everything that I'm sharing is coming from my heart. As I stand here, I recall Frederick Douglass saying, I learned early on, if I wanted something, I better make some noise. All right. The fourth leading cause of death in America is a shame. As Americans, no matter what our economic class is, we should all be embarrassed to say that we're the leaders of the free world. Yet, in terms of my subject matter being affordable housing or adequate housing, we place more funds in putting quote-unquote criminals in jail and housing them than people that are impoverished in our very own backyard. We place money and funds in funding wars versus fighting this war that we have right here in our backyard. So we have a moral responsibility to speak up. We have a moral responsibility to make a change. We have a moral responsibility to put the right people in office. A moral responsibility to demand justice. For far too long, we've had situations, my background being a clinical social worker, so I'm not just talking without being on the ground. I've been on the ground, I've been in the home. And I've seen the inadequate conditions that exist. We see the vacant buildings and the homeless individuals standing on the corners that can be utilized to house these individuals to get them from point A all the way to point Z, so they can be able to be lifted up and then lift somebody else up. All of our moral responsibility, and we're not just looking for justice just in the big cities. We have to remember our rural communities as well. Many of our rural communities are suffering when it comes to housing. So this is not a urban or rural area thing. It's not a black or a white thing or a Hispanic thing or whatever color of the rainbow we may be. This is a human problem. It's going to take us, the good-hearted human beings, to come up with solutions. So I thank you all for your time. I thank you all for your ear. And I thank you all for your listening hearts. Forward together. Not one step back. And this is why I'm in this movement, to take back the mic from extremists. Raise our voices and our votes and make our power felt from the State House to the White House, to wake the sleeping giant and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection.
We are the giants! We are the giants!
Good morning. My name is Kathy Jones, and I'm with League of Women Voters of Alabama. So this weekend, as we're celebrating the 59th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, when patriots marched peacefully across the Pettus Bridge just to get their voting rights, and were attacked by Alabama's lawmakers. You know, they were not deterred, and 5 months later, we had the Voting Rights Act. And so today in Alabama, we are still fighting. And our legislature is fighting what they are calling a war on woke, which is just another chapter in Alabama's ongoing suppression of people, of minorities, marginalized communities, and the poor. And Alabama's supermajority government is fighting against inclusive, diverse, educated, safe, healthy, and equitable civil society. And we're not going peacefully.
Not gonna take it anymore.
No. This year, the legislators' supermajority has hit the ground running in their woke war, and they're trying to pass laws that would abridge the rights of people to make choices for themselves and their families. And they're seeking to bring Alabama back to a darker and more dangerous time. And I wanted to share some of the reasons why that I think they're not doing their job. In their rush campaign to turn back history, the Alabama government is not solving fundamental problems such as the ongoing human rights violations and abuse in our state prisons. The Alabama Department of Justice is suing Alabama, but what is our government doing? Absolutely nothing. They're also ignoring the devastating crisis that we're facing with maternal mortality and infant mortality, and it's getting worse since Roe v. Wade was overturned. So what is our government doing? Nothing, except making it worse. Our state this year is interfering in the lives of women who deserve to make their own reproductive choices and decisions. They're politicizing our library boards for their own gain. They're denying transgender children health care, and they're seeking, right now there's a bill in the legislature to eliminate child labor laws so that they can improve economic development and access to more labor. And one thing that really bothers me is just an ongoing stoking of the fear of the other, which is seeking to divide us rather than unite us. Regarding voting rights, the legislature avoids simple fixes to help fix known problems. And I wanted to mention we have a bill to cure absentee ballot applications. Let me state it again. Absentee ballot affidavit envelopes. If you voted absentee, there's an affidavit envelope that you have to fill out. And if you mess your affidavit envelope up, they will not open your ballot, they will not count it, but they will not tell you they didn't count it. No, it's not. And Representative Hassel here in Montgomery submitted a bill that would have allowed the absentee election managers to cure the affidavits, but a Constitution Campaign Elections Committee gave it a non-favorable recommendation because of it being a, quote, slippery slope. What's it a slippery slope to? It's a slippery slope of having more people's votes.
That's right.
That's not something that they want.
Yes, that's not right.
It's not right. By next week, we're expecting the Senate Bill 1 to actually be out of the legislature. And this bill would create misdemeanors and felonies that would entrap Samaritans that are trying to help fellow citizens with absentee voting applications.
Yes, that ain't right.
It's not right. It would also add the requirement for registered voters to attest that they do not have felony convictions, and which we feel it would definitely intimidate people who may be afraid of being prosecuted if the state decides that maybe they made a mistake. And so this is voter intimidation. The intent of SB1 is clearly voter suppression, and it is going to intimidate civic groups who want to help turn out the vote, and that's not right. So bottom line is, in order to overcome these attacks, more people need to vote. And we must hold each other up and protect each other against the physical and emotional harm that is being inflicted upon everyone. The chaos and the heartbreak. And we cannot let ourselves be divided as we fight to make Alabama better. And we have to overcome this oppression. The only way this is going to happen is if we work together to create a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-gender and multi-generation coalition, which mobilizes and galvanizes all voters, young and old, and we all need to create the change that is needed, and we must support our neighbors who are sick, disabled, or lacking transportation to turn out and vote in 2024. Voting is the most basic way that we're going to be able to change what's happening in the State House and to get the rights we deserve. And this is why I'm in this movement and take back the mic from extremists. Raise our voices and votes and make our power felt from the State House to the White House. To wake the sleeping giant and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection.
Forward together, not one step back. Forward together, not one step back.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to encourage everybody to take out your phones right now and text MORAL, MORAL, to 38542. That gets you in our database so that we can continue to build this coalition of poor and low-income people, advocates, individuals, so that we can all work together because we are the sleeping giants. Moral, I believe it's on this side too. Moral, MORAL, to the number 38542. 38542. Moral to 38542. All right. Okay, I want to call up right now for their 3 minutes. Reverend Petway, Carol Grunlack, Warren Tidwell, Rufus Vines, and followed by our faith leaders, Larry Yarbrough. Would y'all come to the stage?
Who are the giants?
We are the giants.
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 Okay, is Reverend Petway here? Okay, okay. I don't know where he is. I wish you could have met him. He was down at the fountain, I know. He got in touch with me a couple of days ago, heard about what we were doing here, and said, I am one of the original Freedom Riders back in the day, and I was a part of the original Poor People organizing for the Poor People's Campaign. I really wanted you all to meet him. He's around here somewhere, I hope. Maybe he's getting a hot dog across the street. Okay, so let's hear some more from our testifiers, beginning with Carol Grundy.
Good afternoon. First of all, I want to just recognize my CWA brothers and sisters. Alabama staff have recently joined CWA. We're delighted to be part of your movement, indeed. And our UAW friends and allies, we are thinking about you all. My name is Carol Gunlock. I'm a senior policy analyst at Alabama Rise. I would be very remiss if I did not recognize our board members, Reverend Carolyn Foster, Kenneth King, and my colleague Adam Keller. We're delighted to be here today. I'm here to talk about a threat to public education in Alabama.
yes.
There are 2 bills moving fast through the Alabama legislature. One is HB 129, sponsored by Danny Garrett from outside of Birmingham. Yes, thank you. And the other by Senator Arthur Orr from Decatur. That's Senate Bill 61. What both of these bills would do is pull $100 million every single year out of the education budget and give it to people to send their children to private schools.
No.
It ain't right. It ain't right. I live in rural Macon County, right outside of Tuskegee. I know many of you are also from the Black Belt. The people who are going to be hurt most by these bills are our communities. They are communities with low tax bases of their own, so they can't replace those state dollars. They are communities with schools that are really struggling and children who need every bit of education that they can get. And they are communities that do not have private schools even in their community, assuming the parents actually had transportation and the other resources to send their kids to private school. Right. So what these bills are going to do is take our tax dollars and they are going to give them to people in urban areas without any consideration of income. So no matter how rich you are, you're going to get $7,000 a year, every year, per child to send your kids to private school, and that money is coming from our schools. So what can we do about it? Well, the first thing you can do is tell your senators no. It's out of the House. There's nothing we can do to fix the problem in the House. We expect this HB 129 to come up in committee in the Senate probably next week. The only thing we can do to stop this now is to tell your senators to vote no. And if you're not part of Alabama Rise, join us. We'll send you action alerts. We will tell you when the bill is coming up for a vote. We really, really need your help on this. Is that a question? Are we taking questions? No questions.
Name the committee chair. Name the committee
but
chair.
I will chat with you after.
Name the committee chair,
And this is why I'm
please.
in this movement, to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices and votes, and make our power felt from the State House to the White House, and to wake the sleeping giant, and to be a resurrection and resurrection people, and not an insurrection. Thank you.
We are the giants!
Who are the giants?
We are the giants!
Okay, Warren, Tidwell, and Rufus.
Good afternoon. Hello everyone, my name is Warren Tidwell. I'm from Walker County, Alabama, a place filled with many people I love, and a place that has been absolutely ravaged by the opiate crisis. I've lost 18 family members from aunts to cousins since 1998, and just last year I lost 2 first cousins. I often tell people I lost my father to an acute, but he is still alive. What I mean is that he often doesn't know who he is now. He moved on from pill addiction to methamphetamines, and now at the age of 74, he is in and out of jail. I worry that the police will one day kill him when he has an episode. Regardless, one day he will die from years of drug abuse. All of this stems from the effects of poverty in a system designed to hold people down. A system designed to create a class of wage slaves to build wealth for the already wealthy. When Purdue Pharmaceuticals came calling in Walker County, Alabama, with a magic pill called OxyContin that would make all the strain and worry and struggling from day to day in jobs that underpay and overwork, sadly, many of my people fell victim to them. In a just world, they would all be in jail, and many of the people in Alabama who cannot get parole would be out. I now work on issues related to poverty in the town of Camp Hill, Alabama, as Executive Director for the Alabama Center for Rural Organizing. Camp Hill is a town of 1,000, is 90% African American, with over half living below the poverty line. Last year, we received a hailstorm, a climate disaster that devastated our town with baseball to softball size hail. 90% of residents were affected, and we lost 80 to 90% of our cars. We did not get a FEMA declaration. We live 10 minutes from Lake Martin. Some of the wealthiest people in the world were 20 minutes from Auburn. We know why that happened. We were left to figure out how to repair the majority of the roofs in town and the walls that the hailstones went through. We have no grocery store, we have no pharmacy, we have no laundromat. Our food pantry serves a great deal of people, and many of those served work full-time jobs. I'm going to say this as forcefully as I can. The economy is not great just because the stock market is doing well. When I see articles online talking about how good the economy is doing, I want to scream. And we see daily in Camp Hill that is not the case. and everyone here sees daily. That is not the case. We live in a system that is working exactly as designed. In a state where rural hospitals close one right after the other, we see just what the powers that be think of our citizens. What else would we expect in a place where people fought, bled, and died for their rights, still to have to look up at monuments to men who sought to uphold the systems these people I stand in the shadow of Jefferson Davis, the leader of a treasonous effort that sought to uphold the terrible institution of slavery. I stand in the shadow of a man who was called the father of gynecology, but who experimented on enslaved women who weren't given anything to numb the pain. And that pain is what remains. It permeates our very existence. But we can and we will demand and work for better. We must. The moment demands it. People are dying as they are ground underfoot by the capitalist machine that keeps people locked in poverty. I now get the privilege of introducing a man I greatly admire. He is a man from Camp Hill, Alabama, who has, since the storm, cooked 7,000 meals in our community kitchen for his neighbors. He knows that we have to love our neighbors as ourselves, and he is a man who has shared many struggles as I have, but who is someone who is fighting for the people in poverty around him. He is my brother and my comrade. Everyone, Rufus Vines.
Good day, my brothers and sisters. I'm not as articulate with the words as some are, but I'm gonna keep it real.
All right.
It's like this. I want to start off Hebrews 13:8. He's the same yesterday, tomorrow.
Today and forever. Yes, he will.
He didn't call my name, nor did he name anyone's purpose. Then Psalm 141:1 tells us, blessed is he that considereth the poor. The main thing that grabs me in that line of scripture is consider. Knowing that I can't per se fix the situation, I've caused a problem pretty much all my life. Recovering an alcoholic. This month makes 1 year sober.
Recovering, yeah. Recovering.
I take no credit for what the work I'm involved in. But I will accept the notification because it's not me that's doing it. I'm reminded of a few of our singers, rhythm, blues, country, western. Yes, I love country music. Starting with Mark Brooks. He said if tomorrow never comes, well, if tomorrow never comes, what am I doing about it now? Michael Jackson. The man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sister Janet said, what have you done for me lately? Okay, take a look at that mirror and say the same thing as that person in the mirror. What have you done for me lately? Talk to yourself. We have to look at self. Then Al Green said, put it on paper. I've been blessed to be able to put it on paper. Myself, self-check.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Barry White
All
said,
right now.
practice what you preach. Okay, here I am.
All right now.
Being formerly incarcerated, you have to lead by example because some of us has been stigmatized and somebody's not going to accept us no matter what. Because as that song say, makes no difference what you do. Somebody on this side of heaven is going to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, Brother Rod summed it all up. Big Rod. Please don't judge me because God is not finished with me yet. And then too, I said that to say this on the show. I'm not fully mine. I'm dressing all because I say this with boldness because my creator told me step up and when I come here, step up with boldness. He'll surprise all my according to his riches and glory. Thank you.
With my brother Rufus and take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices and votes, and make our power felt from the State House to the White House, to wake the sleeping giant and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection.
We won't be silent anymore. We won't be silent anymore. We won't be silent anymore.
Okay.
I will not be silent either. My brothers and sisters, my mothers, my fathers, my children, my grandparents, my grandchildren, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. You're all of those things. And I stand before you right now in great humility. I stand here before you as a minister of the gospel. And my humility is based on the fact that so many who claim the same name that I do have a different understanding of morals than I think most of us do. The people who work in the building behind me are the ones who make laws that govern so much of our lives. And they're very intent on controlling as many of those things as possible. They vote here. Down the street, they work in another building where their offices are. And over that building is the slogan, "We dare defend our rights." Many of those people would also say that they're speaking on behalf of their faith. I want to draw attention to what the author of that faith has said. For this group here and for that group there, because it warrants hearing again. And I preface it with this. We dare defend our rights is not that bad if it included all of our rights and all of us. But if it's only those people who have power and exercise that power when the phrase first came about to keep people in their place who were not allowed to be one of us. Keep that in mind when you hear these words. The way the writers of the Gospels tell the story, one of the first things Jesus said were these words, quoting from the prophet Isaiah. They will be familiar to many of you. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because He has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives, recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord. That's the way his public ministry started. Toward the end of that public ministry, he told a parable when all the nations would be gathered and God would separate the sheep from the goats. Then the Father will say, "Come, you that are blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the earth. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. That is the core of Jesus' teaching about social justice,
Yes.
about equality,
Yes.
about taking care of the poor and the hungry and the thirsty and those without clothes. We could add now those without adequate housing.
Yes.
We could add those without transportation.
Yes.
Any number of other things. My humility then is to stand before you today and say there are many who claim the name that I claim, who seem not to hear the beginning of Jesus' teaching and the final proclamation of that teaching.
Yes.
You and I, whether we are Christian or not, we've heard it here, are called to defend the rights of all people.
Yes.
To ensure that the poverty that is killing so many people and putting them in caskets like this has no place in our society.
No place.
We must stand up and say, we dare defend our rights.
That's right.
And you better start including us when you defend your rights.
Yes.
All right.
This is what we're called to do. This is why we're here. You need to hear it again? This is why I'm here. To be a part of this movement.
Yes.
To take back the mic from extremism.
Yes.
Raise our voices and vote.
Yes.
And make our power felt from the
State House. State House.
forward ever.
Not one step. Forward together.
Not one step.
All right, we're gonna. Whoa! Where's the energy? We're gonna learn a song. If you know the tune to "Down by the Riverside," then you know the tune to this song. But today, what we're gonna say is, I'm gonna cast my vote for justice or whatever else down at the ballot box. Yes. Down at the ballot box. Down at the ballot box. I'm gonna cast my vote for justice down at the ballot box. Gonna make a difference with my vote. Say, I'm gonna make a difference with my vote. 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 I'm gonna cast my vote for justice down at the ballot box. Down at the ballot box. Down at the ballot box. Gonna cast my vote for justice down at the ballot box. Gonna make a difference with my vote. 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 Oh, I'm gonna cast my vote for the working poor down at the ballot box. Down at the ballot box. Down at the ballot box. Gonna cast my vote for the working poor down at the ballot box. Gonna make a difference with my vote. 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 Gonna make my difference with my vote. Well, I'm gonna cast my vote against poverty down at the ballot box. Down at the ballot box. Down at the ballot box. I'm gonna cast my vote against poverty down at the ballot box. Gonna make
organizations, and they're going to share why they are a part of this movement. We're going to start with Erica Ahimi, who's going to speak on behalf of Greater Birmingham Ministries and Jobs to Move America. Ayo Adabir with League of Women Voters, and Cara McClure with Faith and Work.
And Miss Dolly, you are the ultimate type one. But I'm not going to vote right now. Like, somebody give me something to vote on, please. Hello, I'm Erica Harris out of North Birmingham. I'm Erica Ihime, National Labor Leader, President of the Board of Greater Birmingham Ministries, Co-Executive Director of Jobs to Move America, which is a national policy advocacy think tank working to create good jobs in green manufacturing. Also serving and representing the Alabama Coalition for Community Benefits, where we bring all of our labor friends, environmental, faith, human rights, and civil rights together, all centering the worker in Alabama. So we got the pieces of the puzzle, yeah. We are ready to make this thing turn. We're in a moment that we have to really acknowledge and pay attention to. So I'm going to just do a little nerdy stuff because I'm a nerd. So Alabama is in the top 10 of the lowest unemployment. Alabama also is number 6 in the country of poverty. Poverty is the fourth leading cause of death in America. So that math ain't mathing. Where are we going wrong? We got jobs in Alabama, but we're poor. What does that tell us? We're underemployed. I heard someone mention earlier people having worked 2 or 3 jobs at a time. Let me let you see how that looks. My mom worked 3 jobs at a time, raising 6 kids. My dad died in '92. So she was a nurse from 8 to 5. She come home, change her clothes, make sure we're not tearing the house up. Go to her nursing home job where she served as charge nurse from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Ran home, hunked at us. If we wasn't outside, she kept going. And then on the weekend, she worked a 24-hour shift either at a group home or at a caregiver. Wow. So this isn't extraordinary. This is normal. We have a wage issue in this world, in this country. And we're one of the leading countries of the world. What kind of example are we setting right now? It's a little embarrassing, actually. Right now, we're looking at a new deal. We're looking at federal funds being funneled into our economy that's those of the likely of the New Deal in the late 30s. We are transitioning America economy from carbonization to decarbonization, which means that we are creating products and materials that never existed in the history of mankind. We're going electric. Alabama just invested $188 million on broadband transition. Those are jobs. Yes. We have to understand that in this moment, we have to make sure that we do not allow a brand new type of job be created in America and then drop it on top of old Jim Crow. We got to make sure that these are good jobs. We got to make sure they're union jobs. We got to make sure that these are jobs where people have dignity and integrity. We cannot afford to let this moment leave us for the next 60 or 70 years doing the same old stuff. I'm tired of it. Are y'all tired of it? Yes, so if we really think about it, we're all here connected. So if you think about it, housing insecurity, what to fix that? Good jobs. Food insecurity, what to fix that? Good jobs. Education access, equality education access, what to fix that? Good jobs. Right. Violence. People can't spend time with their children in the evening because they're trying to work. The system is broke. Union. We are the only ones that can fix this. I've been organizing for over 22 years this month. I know I'm young. I know I look young. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I've worked in 36 states, and I've seen what happens when people come together and they activate the ballot box. I've seen people's lives change overnight when they go and vote the right way. It's not that Alabama got funky politics. We have a sleeping giant. We have sleeping voting blocks. We have people who have never been asked to vote. I started going door to door when I was 3 years old with Greater Birmingham Ministries, passing out sample ballots. 3 years old. And we had the community that we needed. We had investments in our community because we voted. When we step away from the voting box, we're giving up our opportunities and we're giving up our power. Now, I told y'all I'm going to keep this brief. But I just want to just kind of leave y'all with hope because the current system wants us to be hopeless. And so I want to let y'all know poverty will be abolished.
Yes.
People will have good jobs.
Yes.
We will have quality of life.
Yes.
We will be free.
Yes.
And so I want y'all to just start saying positive affirmations. I'm going to leave one with you right now. I'm going to say it and I want y'all to repeat it with me and I want y'all to feel it, okay? So I'm just saying, I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Now get a little pop to it. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Io Atterbury, and I'm with the League of Women Voters U.S. And you heard from Kathy earlier, who is our Alabama president, and we are here because we know it takes a 360-degree approach to abolish all the systems we're talking about.
Yes.
Oh, okay, hear me now? Okay, here we go. So I'm Io Atterbury, you heard that part? With the League of Women Voters in the national office out of D.C. Here because we partner, because we understand the problems that we're trying to address, take a systems approach in a partnership.
Yes.
Specifically, and we support Kathy and our other state LW state presidents and local chapters.
Yes,
But we're here today, and I'm honored to commemorate Bloody Sunday.
Yes.
And the march, the march from Selma to
Montgomery.
And we honor the legacy of the brave souls who marched across the bridge, only to be met with violence and brutality at the hands of those who sought to suppress their right to vote. Their 1965, their sacrifice paved the way for the landmark Voting Rights Act of 1965, a monumental achievement for our democracy. As we honor their legacy, we must continue to build on their legacy by continuing the fight for equal representation. And my husband's aunt, great aunt, is Amelia Boynton Robinson. I had the opportunity to talk to her in 2015, right before she passed, and she talked about what we're talking about today, systems of oppression, and how we have to have a collective power.
Yes.
Use our collective power and how we need to organize, unite. And our Poor People's Campaign and other partners out here are talking about those very things. So the fight for voting rights is over, and we understand that because we've seen in the recent years concerted efforts to undermine and disenfranchise our poor folks, right?
Yes.
Our communities of color, and everyone who wasn't granted the initial in this country opportunity and access. So we must remain focused on getting rights for every citizen to participate in the democratic process. And we know at the League of Women Voters that voting is part one of that, but important. We want civic engagement. But also we talked about systems of poverty here, we talked about systems of oppression, but we're talking about is getting rid of all the systems because they work in concert. And the systems are doing exactly what they were designed to do. We're systems disruptors. We are system destroyers. And one thing we want to say, the oppressive system destroyers, we want the system built, reimagined to support all folks. So one of those systems we're talking about is the Electoral College. We know that we don't vote for the president directly. And we know that this is one of those systems that has racist roots. And we're committed to abolishing the Electoral College because we know that it is a threat to our democracy. And American voters should choose our presidents by direct popular vote. And we're launching a public education campaign to drive a movement to abolish this racist relic once and for all and build toward true representation powered by the will of the people. So as we reflect on Bloody Sunday and on Amelia's legacy and all the foot soldiers and those that came before and after her, let us draw inspiration from the courage and resilience of those who came before us and continue to fight for voting rights until every voice is heard and every voice is counted. And this is why I'm in the movement, and the LWV is in the movement, to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices and our votes, and make our power felt from the State House to the White House. You know it's right around the corner from where we are in D.C. To wake the sleeping giant and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection. Forward together,
Not one step back.
so much. My name is Cara McClure. I'm with Faith and Works from Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you to everybody that came out today. It's important that you understand that the power is within you. And that's why we are saying today that we are the giants. Who are the giants? We are the giants. And what I heard here today is that our people are suffering. And when I say, is that right? You say, that ain't right. So what I heard today, our people is suffering. Is that right? What I heard today is that people are working 2 and 3 jobs just to take care of themselves and still can't buy food to eat. Is that right? What I understand is that the state of Alabama is putting all of their money into prisons instead of our communities. Is that right? What I understand is when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. So we must do something. And I'm so proud of us today. But what we must do when we leave here, we must go home and tell 5 and 10 people what we learned. Share with them our imagination, that we've imagined a better world. A world where our kids can grow up and not have to have the struggles that we have. A world free of racism. A world where there is no homelessness. A world where folks are not sitting in jail, just thrown away. Can't even get out on probation. And for me, just me, Cara McClure, I imagine a world without prisons. Another way of taking care of our people. I don't believe that people belong in cages. And so it is very important, y'all, that we get angry. If you're losing sleep at night, you're on your way to really believing. Because I lay awake every night in tears, crying because there's homeless people in the cold. And I'm so grateful for the Alabama Poor People's Campaign. For somebody who has grown up in solidarity. We must declare that 2024 is our year of radical solidarity. And we will all come together. And not worry about black or white, young or old. None of that, but all of us come together because we are the waking giants. And we gotta make them feel our pain. The way to make them feel our pain is coming together. Because when we fight, we win. But you must believe that. So you must talk about your small wins like as if they're big wins. When we fight, ladies and gentlemen, we win. And that's why we're here. And this is why I'm in this movement. To take back the mic from extremists. To help raise our voices and our votes. And make our power felt. From the State House to the White House. So wake the sleeping giant. Who is the sleeping giant? We are the sleeping giant. And to be a resurrection, not an insurrection. Father God, we thank you. Father God, we lift you up. We pray for the woman that had an incident right over here, and we hope that all is well. Father God, we thank you for bringing us together, God. We glorify you and we lift you up, Father God. We give you the honor, the glory, and the praise, Father God. And guess what, God? We believe you. We believe that there is another side of this, Father God, where nobody will be hungry. That's what we're fighting for. And then we must let them know that violence, the only violence is not the violence in the streets, but the violence is them keeping folks hungry. The violence is folks not having affordable housing. The violence is lack of resources. The violence is our prison system. That's the violence. And let's talk about it as if that's the violence. We got to change the narrative. And when they just want to talk about the violence that make us look bad, but we got to say, well, what about the violence of us not being able to take care of our families? It's a pandemic. But guess what? When we fight, we win. We win. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Okay, 2 more partners that I want to bring to the stage. With CWA and NAACP.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I won't hold you long, but you got to talk to me, okay? All right. I'm Errol Minor, Communication Workers of America, CWA Local 3902 in Birmingham, Alabama. I also serve as the chair of our local Civil Rights and Equity Committee, and I'm also the District 3 chair for the Civil Rights and Equity Committee. Unionizing is your choice and your right. Yes. A recent article on nationofchange.org titled "How Workers Are Defying Republican Officials in the South" sheds light on the unionization drive launched by Tanya Gaines and her co-workers in 2014. They highlighted their efforts to secure better wages, fair treatment, and safe working conditions at the Golden Dragon Copper Tube manufacturing plant in Pine Hill, Alabama. Then Alabama's Republican Governor Robert Bentley opposed their unionizing efforts by writing a letter demanding they vote against the unions. The Golden Dragon workers stood up to Bentley and joined USW. In January of 2024, 10 years later, just like former Governor Robert Bentley, Alabama's current Governor Kay Ivey is standing against organizing the Mercedes-Benz plant in Vance, Alabama. Governor Ivey says our success has been homegrown, done the Alabama way. These are out-of-state special interest groups, and their special interests do not include Alabama or the men and women earning a career in Alabama's automotive industry. Governor Ivey, the success of Mercedes and all of the other automobile manufacturers in Alabama are built off of the backs of the men and women of the state of Alabama. For 27 years, the workers of Mercedes have not had a union. And within 2 months of organizing, over half of the 6,000 employees have signed up for the union. So unionizing is your choice and your right. Alabama GOP lawmakers are fixated on things they refuse to understand, and that goes against labor rights, workers' rights, and even our rights. The current legislature is trying to pass several laws that could potentially suppress basic human rights. SB 1 could restrict citizens to the right to vote. SB 4 could criminalize freedom of expression. SB 57 aims to curtail the right to peaceful assembly. SB 53 puts children at risk. SB 77 could possibly politicize archives and history board, leading to the suppression of our past. Learning from the past is crucial to avoid repeating the same mistakes again. History only serves as a guide for the present and future generations to make informed decisions and create a better world. When workers unionize, companies and Republican politicians start attacking. Employers spend millions of dollars every year to disparage organized labor and threaten labor union supporters. These billion-dollar companies flood workers' social media and cell phones with anti-union propaganda and post union messages and videos throughout workplaces, even in the restroom. Unions across the U.S. have lobbied for the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which has placed $1.2 trillion for nationwide upgrades to transportation, communications, and energy systems. And some of us ought to get those jobs. And when I close out now, I'm going to just say this and I'm through. When one of us is threatened, we all are threatened. When one of us is going through, we are all going through.
Yes.
When one of us cries, we all cry.
Yes.
When one of us rejoices, we all must rejoice because we're all in this thing together. When they come after women's rights, LGBTQIA plus rights ought to be there. When they come after the LGBTQIA plus rights, labor rights ought to be there. When they come after labor rights, civil rights ought to be there. When they come after civil rights, human rights ought to be there. And when they come after human rights, we all must join together in the fight, because freedom is a consistent and constant fight for a right. And this is why I'm in this movement, to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices and votes, and make our power felt from the State House to the White House, to wake the sleeping giant, and to be a resurrection, not an insurrection. Thank you.
Forward together!
One step back.
Forward together!
One step back.
Good afternoon. I want you to do one thing for me. Pretend as if you're at a football game. And on the count of three, an Alabama game, I want you to say, wake up.
Wake up.
1, 2, 3.
Wake up.
My name is Minister Patricia McColo. I am the Communications Chairperson with the Alabama NAACP. I am honored to be here with you today. Sleeping is not an option anymore. Did you know that Alabama is home to 1.9 million poor and low-income eligible voters who make up 47% of the electorate? Imagine this. You already heard it, but let me say it again. Let me reiterate. If poor and low-income eligible voters went to the polls at the same rate as higher income voters, they would have the power to sway election outcomes in every state. What does that mean for us? If you want things to change in your neighborhood, you ought to go vote. If you want things to change for your children within the school system, you ought to go vote. If you want them to be taught their rich history, you ought to go vote. Now, I want to tell you a story of what they do to poor people. This is a story. This is a true story. Uncle Johnny, in 1980, was sentenced to prison without the possibility of parole for stealing a shiny red toolbox. A shiny red toolbox. Something called the Habitual Offenders Act. It still exists today in the state of Alabama, and it ought to be abolished. The 3 strikes and you're out law. What a travesty. It's a travesty.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
You get 3 times and you get locked in prison without the possibility of parole. This is what they do.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
This is what they do to poor people. Now, Johnny is out today, but has spent more than 30 years in prison for stealing a toolbox. That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
What happened to restorative justice? 3 strikes and you're out is not even practical. It's not practical. Here's what they do to our children in school. If they get in trouble, they get sent to the alternative school. That ain't right.
That ain't right.
Because I truly believe that the alternative school is a pipeline to prison.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
They're getting ready to send these children to the prison that they built. That ain't right.
That ain't right.
And we have got to speak out to what's happening in our community.
Yes.
If you want things to change in your community, you ought to go vote.
Yes. Yes.
You ought to go vote. It's not right to assist others in the voting process
and yet be threatened to be locked up in jail. That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right. We need to vote to enforce safe gun laws. And I'm coming in the spirit of the Honorable John Lewis, rest his soul, because he told us that we need to get into good trouble.
Yes.
It's time for us to get into good trouble.
Good trouble.
I'm ready to get into good trouble.
Yes.
Today, this weekend, March 5th, and for the rest of my life, let's get into good trouble. Good trouble. It's time to get into good trouble.
Yes.
This is the very weekend in 1965 where they marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Let me give you a recap of what happened when they met law enforcement and they were told to turn back. How dare we not take this opportunity to vote? Because they were billy clubbed and bruised and beaten and broke down. But they risked it all for us to go and vote.
Yes.
We must not. We have to exercise our right to vote.
Yes.
We must not take it for granted.
Yes.
And we must prove ourselves strong.
That's right.
And we must look after one another in our communities. Because we are the ones that we are looking for. We are the help that we are looking for. We are the ones to make the difference. We teach our children not to fight, but this is the time to fight.
Yes.
Fight by voting.
Yes.
Fight by voting.
Yes.
I thank you all, and to end my statement, I want to say this. And this is why I am in this movement to take back the mic from the extremists. Raise our voices and our votes and make our power felt from the State House to the White House, and wake the sleeping giant and to be a resurrection and not an insurrection. Hallelujah. God bless you.
So you have heard why it is important that we raise our voices and wake the sleeping giants here in Alabama and around this country. We have been mobilizing along with 32 states and DC to send a clear message to our state houses all over this country in 32 states. We are waking the sleeping giants because we have the power of our vote. We'll all be back here. Well, the other states will be back here on Monday, March the 4th, to deliver our demands. And I think most of you have an Alabama fact sheet about this data, about the power that we have and why they need to vote for our issues. But we here in Alabama will be coming back to the Capitol or State House on Wednesday, because guess what? Our legislators don't even work on Monday. They ain't even here on Monday. And we know that Tuesday is a voting day, so we know where you all and we all need to be. So we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be back. We're going into the State House behind us with our demands. If you would like to join us, make sure you just sign up here, Moral, to 38542 so that you can get on our database. Because we are looking for a cadre of people, because we're going to every one of their offices next Wednesday. Everyone. And we need you to join us. Next summer, on June 15th, all of the states are going to DC to make our voices heard. And if you would like to be a part of that group, you need to be on our database. Text MORAL to 38542. So, who are the giants?
We are the giants.
Who are the giants?
We are the giants.
Who are the giants?
We are the giants.
And we are going forward together. We're going forward together. We're going forward together. All right. Hot dog members right over there. Y'all go help me.